Okay. All right, my PC's acting weird. It keeps dropping USB devices. I'm going to do one more thing. All right. Okay. So, how is everybody tonight? Okay. Hopefully, you guys hear me tonight. I saw bars coming through my mic, so hopefully you guys can see me. And then, everybody can follow along. So, okay, I've been working in my home lab, and I worked out a lot of issues with the Rock 6. I actually have quite a number of Proxmox servers in the house. Well, 2. Actually 3, because my X1. But tonight I need to get some apps up and running to help the infrastructure for this little network that I'm setting up. So what I'm going to be doing is, if you see over here, is I'm going to be using Kasm Web. Kasm Web workspace. It's like CasOS. So if you're familiar with it, in fact, we'll go over here and show CasOS. Okay. And I actually started with Kasm Workspace first, and it was pretty unique in the fact that I could set up all these little applications that were in Docker and I can use it. CasOS does pretty much the same thing, but of the two, CasOS has more containers than Kasma. Okay, so what's going to be unique about my Kasma is, let me pull this forward. This here is an Odroid M1. Okay, and it's a rock chip. It is got 8 gigs of memory, and I am using an NVMe to run off of. Okay, you can use either EMC or SATA or the NVMe. It uses this real neat way of installing the OS called Petaboot. But I have Debian 10 on this. In fact, here, let's do this. I'm going to bring up real quick. Okay. Start up Mobile Xterm, and we're going to go ahead and log into the Odroid. So see, it is the M1, okay? And just to show you guys the OS, we're running an older version of Debian. I could run 11 on it, probably should, okay? But it's not a bad little system, okay? This has been up and running now for 77 days. And as you can see, it's got all these containers running here, okay? And it's a nice little system, okay? And one thing to show you guys is that I am using a 500 gig NVMe, which is a nice little board, okay? Um, I really want to get a couple more M1s. They're nice. They came out with the M1S, but after playing around with the N2L, I'm kind of scared on it because the N2L was not great. Odroid's quality to me lately has been kind of going down. But anyway, so we're going to come over now. Okay, over here. And I got to set up a redirect from 88 to 443. Okay. Because Kasm OS only works on 443. And if you have a redirect, it's really nice. And since this is in my home lab, I'm not worried about it. So, all right. When you do the install, it will create an admin account, a local account, and a few other things. Ah, that's why. I just reset the password. Here we go. So just real quick look. Okay. All right. So right now, this is the landing page for admins. If you were a user, you would come in on the workspace. It looks like this, but we're on the admin page. So right now it's saying that there's one user. You can have multiple users. You can set it up to work with two-factor authentication, log in with your domain. Okay, this right now is actually showing you the stats of the OS. And as you guys can see, I'm only using close to 2 gigs of the 8 gigs, and we're hardly doing anything. And right now, there are no containers running, so it's not doing a lot. And just kind of give you guys a quick glance. So again, it sets up these local accounts for you, okay? It sets up groups, so if I wanted to, I could set up groups here for other users, and then the different types of authentication that I can set up here, okay? And then our Docker agents, right now, the servers, pools, so you could have multiples, but because I'm using the home version, we're only allowed to use the one. Sessions are anything that's running, so if you were using this in a business sense, you could come in and kill someone's session, okay? Workspaces are the containers that you have on here. Right now, I have 6 workstations that I've been playing around with, okay? And to add more, you can come through here and install custom ones, or what's very nice is you can use registries. And every time you go into registries, it's going to set up, well, not set up, it's going to do a live update. So it's done a live update. And I want to show you guys, if you notice, I have 2 registries. So I have Kasm technology, which this is everything here, and everything that is bright and shiny, I can run on this ARM-based unit. Okay, and if you notice, there is quite a bit turned off. Okay, Linux server.io, and let's just show you what they have. So we'll go to Linux server.io. Okay, and they have a lot of well, they do a lot with containers, as you guys can see. Okay, and what we want to do is look for registries. Okay, let's go back over to Kasm, and I'm going to click on registries, and I want to click, it won't let me edit it. Let's hit update. So it's going to update it real quick. All right, and let's do this. We're going to take this out. And we're going to go and there it is. And the reason I wanted to point this out to you guys is this is other versions of Docker containers. And as you can see down here, it runs beautifully on x86 processors. There's ARM and 64, which this is. Okay. And this is the proof of point. Okay. ARM 64. And we can run a lot. Now they do have over here other, like a whole list of stuff, that images and things like that they have running. Okay. And then, to get it up and running, there's more information. So we'll click out of fleet, and we're going to go back over here, and we're going to go to available workspaces. And this is everything that linuxservices.io has up and running. So what I want to do, so I want to look to see if they have anything that would help me with my infrastructure. And they do not. Okay. So let's see if there's okay. Give me 1 second. I'm having some issues with this monitor. I want to fix it real quick. So 1 second. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm not seeing anything in Kasm OS that would help me right now. What I was looking for was I want to set up DNS. Okay. But as you can see, this is all either OSs or desktops and things like that. And what I really want was something that would help me with the infrastructure. So let's go and log into my Casa OS and let's show you guys some of the stuff that I'm trying to get set up. Okay. So Kasm OS would be great if I wanted to do some like pen testing, do a little bit of editing, or if I want to set up connectivity. And this is a great little application to do that. Okay. So it's not bad. All right. But what we want is we want to be able to have things to help out because if you guys have seen any of my videos, I have a half rack servers that are in my office or what most people would call their den. It's there. Okay. And I really want to be able to get rid of that half rack servers. One, because of the heat, and two, because of all the power. Okay. So okay. Give me a second, guys. I'm just checking a couple things. Okay. So CastOS, another application for setting up um, apps in your home lab. And this is actually my second time getting this one set up and running. I had issues where I lost a hard drive, and when I did, um, I had to reset stuff up. So what I wanted was I got Pi-hole up and running, and that's a great DNS server. But what I wanted was just something that was just DNS. Okay. And we're going to install Duck DNS. This will be my first time using it. I like Bind. Bind's great, but a lot of people, I guess, don't like it. You're always hearing how hard it is to set up. Let's go into PiOS real quick. And it's working. We are blocking stuff, okay? And we are doing a lot of queries. And if we come down local DNS, I do have stuff listed in here, but this is using DNS mask queue. And again, I like a real DNS server. I've been a DNS admin for years. So we're going to go back over here and we're going to click on this and we're going to go into it. And okay, it's not launching. So let's go. You know why? Ports, public domain. Okay. And let's go ahead and give it a port number, one that shouldn't be used. Okay, and that should be it. The only conflict I think I'm going to have is that it is on the same port as Pi-hole. Right, it's reconfiguring it. And CasOS does so much work that if you were running a Kubernetes network or Docker Swarm or anything like that, you have to go update your compose file and restart it. And it is still not wanting to run. Okay. Every time I get on and I do these little live streams with you guys is when I have issues. So maybe it didn't start. Okay, power it off. No tips. It is still not wanting to run. Hold on. I think I might know the issue. 1 second. Let's do a reconfig. No, it just does not want to run. You know, that's a first for me. Try it one more time. No, still nothing. Settings. Eastern. Log files. Okay, let's just see if it really is up and running. Okay. That works. It's not happy about something. All right. You know what? Nice thing about running Docker containers, unlike running verts, is you don't have to waste a lot of time in here. So I'm going to uninstall this real quick. All right, so let's go back in. Let's look under DNS one more time. Okay, and this is all it's showing is we could do dynamic DNS, DNS to go at guard, which is kind of like Pi-hole. So not really what I was hoping for. And just to make sure, Okay, I did check all, and I do have multiple, just like with Casmus, I have a number of Docker containers here as well, okay? And, you know, what I was really wanting to set up was the DNS server. So let's do this. Okay. So Casma OS it's not bad, but we are now, we really do need a true DNS server. So I'm going to come over here real quick and I'm going to go into my Proxmox server. So I was hoping I could do it with the container, couldn't do it with the container. So I'm going to use a vert. And I have this one here running, but that's on a different network. All right, this should be the one I need. So we'll come over here, click on, where is Christmas? Did I shut it down by mistake? Oh, there it is. Okay. And go. So this is a nice little vert. It's using 4 gigs of memory, 2 sockets, and it should be just enough OS for me to get it up and running. So okay. And I don't have a user, so that's fine. And normally it would be best to use a user and then SU, but we're just wanting to get some DNS up and running tonight. So the first thing, I'm going to go back into it real quick. I'm sorry that. Okay. So I want to show you guys one of the coolest things that they've come out in recent years. And if you want a remote way of accessing stuff, we can use SSH and go in, okay? But for right now, I just want to get some stuff working. So I'm going to come over here and we're going to come in on this IP 107.2. And this is cockpit. Okay. And yes, this is Red Hat Enterprise. I have a developer's license and I've been using it. I know a lot of people are kind of negative towards Red Hat because it became closed, but it does a great job. And because I use this where I work at, it's good to have in my home lab so that I can okay, why are you being difficult? That's my password. Okay. Back over to here. And I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second because I want to check my. I guess there's security settings. So let's do this. We're going to do user add. Okay. And I want to make sure that this guy is a part of real. Mhm. Okay. So there are T-shirts that are sold on the internet that says that the problem is always DNS, and this is one of the things that we're trying to set up. So what I'm going to do real quick is go here, cat out my Etsy resolve. So this is my pi hole. Okay, this is another server that I have not updated in a bit because I want a reliable server. So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to come in here and we're going to add Google for a second. And let's add Cloudflare as well. Okay. And okay, so just make sure it's going to work. I'll install Midnight Commander. And voila, it's working. This is why having your own DNS in your lab works great. And Happy New Year to you, Stevenson. So, okay, cool. So, all right. Do a little behind the scenes magic real quick. Okay. Okay, so now let's go back over to here and let's see if I'm able to log in. And I am. All right, so we're running. Part of the reason I wanted to come into the into Cockpit is one, again, it's a great tool to use. Two, it can show you um, things that the command line can't. So the first thing I wanted to show is that I am running the latest version of Red Hat 9.3. If I need to go take a look at my logs, okay, it's showing things with errors, okay, and then I can go through and take a look at other areas. If I wanted to do all logs, it pretty much dumps it out, and you can look here, and I can do searches, okay. This is running on my Proxmox server in the other room. Okay, I'm using a SATA. Probably been better to use a virtual disk, but it does work. Okay, and our network is here. Okay, and it's showing our send receives. Okay. I didn't install Podman, but for some reason it did, so I could run containers within a container. And then this is eventually where we need to look at. So right now I'm looking, and if you notice, there is nothing in here. We're just going to see if name is here. And named is bind, which is, there it is. Okay. So now I'm going to do something that's going to be a little bit unorthodox. So I'm going to install another GUI tool. Webmin was light years before Cockpit. And the reason I want to use them is I want to make sure that I get it up and working. So we're going to come over here, copy this. We're going to go back over mobile Xterm. We're going to hit paste. I'm going to set up our repos. And it automatically detects that we're running Red Hat. And we're going to install it. The reason I'm doing this is it's when we go in there and we set up our first domain, it's going to do a lot of stuff in the background that's a real pain in the butt. Okay. I want to show you guys how to get this up and running quickly. I could go do it with them and all that, but it is a pain in the butt. Okay. Let's see if I can get somebody else on here. Okay, so we got that installed. So we're going to come over here. We're going to go back to our little server. And we're going to go to port 10,000. Oh, I got to go start it. System admin. All right. And it's probably not, yeah, because I got to go. Right now, I don't want to fight with the firewall, so we'll do system control, stop firewall. Okay. I will give Red Hat credit. Their OS is pretty tight. Okay. All right. So if we come over servers, there's our bind server. It sees it. And I want to create a new domain. So I'm going to tell it to create a new master zone. And the new master zone is going to be called softmeta.org. Okay, and we need an email address. And for right now, we're not going to worry about IP for template. We're going to hit create. And we're going to come over up under name servers, and we're going to add 2 more name servers. Okay. All right. And one place. So all right. So in my little DNS area, okay, I'm going to have 3 servers. They're all set to time of life for 5 minutes. And then from there, we can go ahead and any of these 3 should answer as a domain server for this little domain that I've set up. Okay. Now, the first thing we want to do is we're going to add, we have 3 name servers. I want to create just a regular A record. So Chronos, which you saw was one of the servers, we're going to come over here and we're going to put 192.168.107.3. Okay. And Icewell, okay, 7.165. Okay. So right now, as you can see, we have 3 name servers. We have 2 addresses in there. It should have been 3. And I'm going to add one more. So now I have my domain here, and if I told it, we could tell it to update the select records, one zone, okay, and it should be up to date. Come down to here. If I do dig, which is a great command for doing searches on Linux, so or host. Let's do host. So if I do Crimson Tide soft meta, okay, at localhost. Okay. Now I'm going to have to go back into Resolve. Oh, hold on. Just to show you guys that it's up and running. All right, there's my DNS server. So if I do host again, still not showing it because we need to update our Etsy Resolve. To use localhost. Oh, because I'm doing COM. Voila. Now, I'm used to working on the CLI, okay? And I've been doing DNS for years. On Red Hat, if you come over under varlib, you'll see this chroot directory. And if you go into there, it should be here, but it's not. It's putting it up here, which is not good. I'm not going to worry about it right now because we just want this up and running. But eventually, I want to get all my stuff under this chroot directory because that will be a hell of a lot more secure than running it from where it's running. Okay, chroot puts it into like its own little. Think of it as its own little container, and you can go ahead and run it from there. So, and sorry guys, I keep checking to see if anybody's watching. I don't think they are. So they just think I'm talking to myself. So anyway, let's go back. What I wanted to show you why I wanted to set this up. So it went ahead and it created this host record for me. And some of the stuff that it does that's very nice that a lot of people don't like because you have to understand the syntax of it. But the syntax is very simple. All a DNS record is a flat file with host names and IPs. Okay. So time to live is 5 minutes. Here's my domain. And here's where I say, hey, this is the authoritative. This is my email because I'm the admin. This is very important. This is the record. If you do a lot of changes and don't update this, it's not going to read any of the new changes. Down here are my 3 name servers. So this says in name server. It says check one of these 3. And then over here, I'm going to go ahead and come down a little bit. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because that's our comment line. And one of the things I'm going to do just real quick because I like to keep everything in order is I'm going to switch the records around. I know a lot of people don't like VI, but VI is beautiful once you learn it. So you highlight the line that you want to edit. So like this one, I'll hit DD, deletes it. I go to where I want to place it, go above it. I hit a P and it does a paste. X doesn't erase. Now let me show you something. If you notice, it's putting the softmeta.org. Webmin does that. But let's say I want to come down here and I want to add another IP address. Okay. If I do that, over here, add my address. Do hit my tab keys so it lines it up beautifully. Like I said, I love, once I've finally learned how to use VI, VI is beautiful. All right, so I'm back up here. And this record has been updated 6 times for today. I'm going to go ahead, add a 7 to it. I'm going to come over here I'm going to do a restart. Okay. Now, the one thing that is important with named, the files somehow have to be owned by it. So if you went and edited it and it was not owned by named or in the group name, it's not going to work. Okay. So now, okay, if I do a dig, and let's look up lycanthropy. I don't have to do that .softmeta.org. Okay. All I have to do is put in my name and my IP. No, Steve, I'm working on, so I'm using Proxmox with Rail 9. Okay. I was going to use my Odroid, which is up here, but the application I wanted to use just didn't have what I needed. I probably could have set up something there, but I'm trying to build out infrastructure in the background. So right now, I just went ahead and used this. Eventually, though, I am going to get some stuff up and running up on these. Okay. So Armbian is really good, believe it or not. Armbian Debian, I prefer it over Armbian Ubuntu. And the reason being is that Ubuntu is beautiful. I know a lot of people like it, but every time I update, something breaks. So I always recommend Debian, be it pure Debian, Armbian Debian. It is stable. So if you're going to run DNS like I'm doing, okay, I would use Debian. In fact, the Kronos, the second server that I set up, or actually it was the first server on this network. It's just right now, it's been acting up. So I want to have a backup. You always want to have with DNS 2 servers. Okay. It is Debian and it works beautifully. Okay. So you could use a Libtata, Armbian with a Libtata, and you could set up DNS on it. Okay. So again, a beautiful OS. In fact, eventually, show you right here. This is a sweet potato pie, and I am going to be getting this up and running a service. Okay. So, and it's very dusty in here. I got that dust. Okay. So now I accomplished what I wanted to do. So we got DNS up and running, which is great because this little home network that I've been working on, if you're ever curious how many people, let's say you were using a wireless device and you don't know how many devices are connected to it and you're just curious, Nmap is a great tool. And if you do this dash lowercase s capital P, that's going to do a sweep ping, which means it's going to go and ping all the hosts in this area. So this is 192.168.107.0/24. So there is a possibility of 254 hosts that could be on this given network. Okay. And I have, believe it or not, 25 hosts on this network. Now, let me show you one of the things that's really nice. Since we did get the IP set up, I can now see host names. So like, look at this one right here. Watchtower is one of our records that we got set up, and it knows that this 1 equals there. There is Flagellon. Okay, this one, for some odd reason, isn't working right. So this would be troubleshooting. And if you go through here, I can start identifying stuff as to where it's running. Okay. All right. Well, that's it. If you came and hang out with me tonight, I appreciate it. I'm going to go do some more work in this. I'm trying to get as much as I can set up so that I can have stuff in the background. I'm going to make sure that my DNS servers are set up correctly. What I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to make Kronos, okay, which did not show up with a host name. Okay. I'm going to get Kronos to become a secondary so that every time I update Crimson Tide, it will go update Kronos, because the old terminology is you would have a primary and you would have a secondary, or what they called, I'm not going to say the word, but anyway, secondary. And when you update the primary DNS, all secondaries, and you can have many secondaries, because like, believe it or not, that Google server that you hit, the 8.8.8, is probably multiple containers behind that IP. So when you hit it, it goes to any of the containers that are listening and does a query and give you your answer back. Okay, so I'm going to make Crimson Tide the primary for this domain, and Kronos the secondary. And in that way, every time I'm updating stuff, it will update it. But anyway, want to wish everybody a happy new year. I'm been on vacation doing literally nothing. I really do need to get up off my butt and do stuff. I was hanging out with the kids and enjoying stuff. But I may do another live cast between now and the New Year's. But thank you guys for coming and watching me. Appreciate it.